Know thyself. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. To find yourself, think for yourself. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. An unexamined life is not worth living. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Wisdom begins in wonder. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. To be free is not to have the power to do anything you want, but to have the power to do what is right. To find peace, you have to be willing to lose your connection with the people, places, and things that create all the noise in your life. What you do not want to be done to yourself, do not do to others. Hard times may have held you down, but they will not last forever. When all is said and done, you will be increased. By desiring little, a poor man makes himself rich. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. Fame and tranquility can never be bedfellows. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult. To be beautiful means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others, you need to accept yourself. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. A great man clings to the essential and leaves the insignificant. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. The more you don't have sex, the less you want it. Truth uttered before its time is always dangerous. When true virtue is lost, good nature appears. When good nature is lost, justice appears. When justice is lost, decency appears. If there is no dull and determined effort, there will be no brilliant achievement. To recognize your insignificance is empowering. Friendship is one mind in two bodies. He who knows the measure is satisfied with his position. Pride in excess brings disaster for man. Sometimes you must yield in order to win, and sometimes maintaining a low place leads you to win. Health is the greatest possession. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Confidence is the greatest friend. A trail through the mountains, if used, becomes a path in a short time, but if unused, becomes blocked by grass in an equally short time. It is easy to hate, and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. The whole being knows without learning, sees without looking, and detains without doing. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Try your best to be to others as you would wish to be treated yourself, and you will find that this is the shortest way to benevolence. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. People of higher morality do not consider themselves moral, therefore they have the highest morality. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. A sage who wants to be above people puts himself below them. Wanting to be ahead of them, he becomes behind. The one who offends you takes away your negative energy and gives you his positive energy. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? Learn as if you were not reaching your goal and as though you were scared of missing it. If you are alone for a long time, soon you will accept loneliness. You will never know your potential if you are afraid to be alone. You cannot open a book without learning something. A long absence of sex turns a person into a neurotic. By remaining true to yourself without seeking to compare and compete, you will achieve universal respect. If someone wants to offend you greatly, then it is even worse for him. A man with outward courage dares to die, a man with inner courage dares to live. Our greatest glory is not and never falling, but in rising every time we fall. A great man clings to the essential and leaves the insignificant. He does everything in truth, but he will never rely on laws. Worry not that no one knows you. Seek to be worth knowing. If you aren't afraid of dying, there is nothing you can't achieve. The superior man is modest in his speech but exceeds in his actions. Whoever talks a lot often fails. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, it will be weak everywhere. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Think of tomorrow. The past can't be mended. An enemy is a friend who knows too much about you. Victory over others gives strength. Victory over oneself gives fearlessness. Give a bowl of rice to a man, and you will feed him for a day. Teach him to grow his own rice, and you will save his life. Disorder came from order, fear came from courage, weakness came from strength. Do not seek, otherwise you will lose. Do not seek, and you will find. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. The skillful artist will not alter his measures for the sake of a stupid workman. Beware of sugar that is mixed with poison. Beware of the fly that sat on a dead snake. A man dies easily because he has too much will to live. Who does not know the evils of war cannot appreciate its benefits. Time is a created thing. To say, I don't have time, is like saying, I don't want to. A noble person blames himself, and an insignificant person blames others. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will be blunt. Friends are the siblings God never gave us. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. Be attentive to your thoughts. They are the beginning of actions. To complain about an unpleasant thing is to double the evil. To laugh at it is to destroy it. You can always rise above those who offend you by forgiving them. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. The truth is not always beautiful, nor are beautiful words the truth. People are distressed by their inability to do it. The problem, however, is simply that they don't do it. You are controlled by the one who makes you angry. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Roads were made for journeys, not destinations. Never say never, because the days go by so fast and nothing stays the same. Your life is what your thoughts make it. We gain by losing, and lose by gaining. No matter how busy you may think you are, you must find time for reading, or surrender yourself to self-chosen ignorance. When I free myself from who I am, I become who I can be. Happiness is when you are understood. Great happiness is when you are loved. Real happiness is when you love. Temperance is the first step of virtue, which is the beginning of moral perfection. Sometimes we see a lot but do not notice the main thing. The snow goose needs not bathe to make itself white. Neither need you do anything but be yourself. The wise man is one who knows what he does not know. Respect yourself, and others will respect you. If you lack faith, then existence does not believe in you. What is evil to one at one time becomes good at another time to somebody else. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. The way is near, but men seek it too far. It is in easy things, but men seek for it in difficult things. New beginnings are disguised as painful endings. Forget injuries, never forget kindness. The unwilling soul sees what's hidden, and the ever-wanting soul sees only what it wants. There is beauty in everything, but not everyone can see it. The way of truth is like a great road. It is not difficult to know it. The evil is only that men will not seek it. A man must not be without shame, for the shame of being without shame is shamelessness indeed. Be bent, and you will stay straight. Be empty, and you will remain complete. Be worn out, and you will stay new. The man who chases two rabbits catches neither.